As you guys may know, or you may not know because you don't know me, obviously, my name is Raffi. And I like to get angry about things. And there's a certain number of things I'm angry about.
Passionately angry.
Yeah. This one is probably something I'm more passionate about because my friends complain about it more. And it will be an issue for me as my children get a bit older. And that is housing affordability. Hi, you're listening to the Unlock Your Business podcast, where we discuss ways you can unlock your personal and business wealth with financial, investment and business strategies. I'm Raffi Pelagian. I'm a financial advisor and run financial services businesses that aim to help individuals, families and small to medium business executives manage, grow and protect their wealth. Through this podcast, I share my experience and knowledge from a financial advisor and business owner's perspective, in addition to my wins and struggles. So if you want an authentic and honest discussion on personal and business growth, investment, management and unlocking wealth creation strategies, you have come to the right place. The Unlock Your Business podcast is brought to you by financial advice firm Manly Financial Services. Please see the website links in the show notes. We hope you enjoy the discussion. Welcome to the Unlock Your Business podcast. I've got on my right Mr. Krishu Patel, who all the time I've asked him to be on this podcast has declined.
That's not true.
He's one of our insurance specialists and financial planners at Manly Financial Services. And on my left is the illustrious Mr. Seasoned Pro, because he's more than happy to be on every podcast. Mr. Zare Dimension, and he's Manly Financial Services mortgage finance specialist, financial planner extraordinaire, and partner. So we're going to do a series of podcasts here and there called Raffi's Rant. So I want to throw up have a discussion, have a debate on how our useless politicians can potentially look at making some reforms to make housing affordability better. Now, before we start this is the way I'm going on this. Firstly, I want to thank our sponsors, Jamison.
Jamison.
Single malt. Yeah, we love them.
Yeah.
They're not sponsoring, but I wish they did.
If Jamison, if you're watching, we're gonna send you the invoice.
Yeah, we'll send you the invoice. The way I'm going with this is to make housing more affordable. We need supply. Yeah,
of course.
So let's now make the huge assumption, which is not really an assumption. It's actually, I think, proven that when the government, federal or state, says we're going to build all these extra houses, that because of red tape, either at the state level or the local government level, that never happens fast enough. Okay? So we need more supply. Now, how can we get supply? Either we're going to build, which, as I said, does not fast enough. The other way is for people to sell, downsize, this, that, and the other. And we've got the downsizer contribution to try to promote that. So I want to start talking about that. I don't want to talk about immigration or any of that stuff because I think that's a bit too above my pay grade. And I'm sure there's many solutions, but we just want to talk about financial reforms.
Now, are you going to get upset if I go against your beliefs and don't blame politicians?
No, I'm not. This is what it is. It's a debate. It's a rant. It can easily be Zare's rant, but because the podcasting equipment's mine, it's actually Raffi's.
It's going to be it's going to be a bit of a rant, but I was listening to a podcast last year, property podcast, and
which one?
I can't remember which one.
Pizza
but
Property?
He was saying no, but I listened to that guy. He's pretty good.
Good, eh?
And the guy that I was listening to was talking about how housing affordability has always been an issue in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 60s, and now, and young people trying to get in, young families trying to upgrade, it's always going to be a problem. So I'm not sure.
I get that, but
I'm not sure if there is a crisis.
Okay, do you think the degree? Okay, I hear you, and I'm sure that to a large extent is true, right? But
so we can end the podcast now.
We can end the podcast now. It's over. Sorry, Jamison, and these things. No, but this is what I'm thinking, right? Do you think? Okay, let me ask you this question. Do you think property prices over the last, 30 or 40 years have outpaced income growth?
Wage growth?
Wage growth.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have.
They would have by a large degree, because if not, we wouldn't have a job, would we? As financial planners or the property spruikers / really good
Agents.
Consultants that aren't spruikers who have been in the game for a while.
You got to be careful about the wording.
Yeah, those property prices have gone up. What is it? 7.2% or whatever the rule said.
Double digits. It's double digits.
But inflation on average is what? Maybe a 3 on the higher end. I know that it's been higher recently.
Okay, look, I know, I see what angle you're playing here, and to answer yes or no, yes, it has. However, someone that's trying to get into the property market now, okay, just because your parents, or just because you were raised in Manly, right,
Doesn't mean you have to
live in Manly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hear you there. That definitely.
So there's like, don't come whinging to me that I can't get into the property market, right? When you've got nothing saved, right? Because I'm seeing a lot more of these. The Gen Zs. They can't. They go and spend money on their avocado and toast and their $5 coffees. Yeah. Hey, listen. Avocado and toast. Yeah. No, listen.
This is always TikTok getting in his head. Yeah. The avocado and toast, because this is the line.
Yes.
That the property spruikers use.
You watch TikTok?
I don't watch TikTok. I don't watch TikTok.
That's coming from the property spruikers who use this line to
because you can buy a loaf of bread
to
for
sell their
$4.
investing
you can buy an
idea.
avocado. Instead, you're paying $11 at the cafe on a Saturday morning. But it's also about entitlement.
Okay.
All these Gen Z, is it the Gen Z?
And millennials.
They're all entitled. They can't even save. They can't even save $200. And I'm doing a lot more of them. The guarantor loans. Luckily for their wealthy parents that have equity in their property, and my parents didn't. My parents came in from overseas, and they worked. They saved a deposit and they bought a place. I did that as well. I'm not seeing that.
Yeah, when Kian grows up, I think he's going to say the same.
Yeah. No. Okay. All valid points. 100% understand. And you know what?
I'm making a lot of enemies here.
There's a lot of... You're very correct on a lot of those things. All the avocado growers up North Queensland or wherever it is... Like Coffs Harbour, they do.
Out of everything that I said is concentrating avocado.
That's a problem.
What about I'm not a coffee drinker, but coffee how much?
Yeah, a cup of coffee a day.
$5.
Well, it's gone up. It's gone up in value significantly. So I've been talking to my buddies, not you guys. You guys are my friends too, but some other friends, and we were
the ones on the golf course.
The ones on the golf course who have kids that want to buy into the market, but they're not. Probably a lot of them have the issues that you're talking about around the disciplines of saving and this, that, and the other. But we were throwing away around a few things. Now, I wanted to talk about them because some of them I agree with, some of them I disagree with, and some of them it's like, maybe there's a potential, right? So one of the guys came up and he's got this thing about negative gearing. He says that negative gearing should only be for risky assets,
100%,
such as shares. I guess shares are risky, but a BHP, CBA, this, that, and the other. I mean, we're not in the same thing as a specky, but anyway, and shouldn't be on property. And he believes that property doesn't actually create anything. So when you invest in property, okay, I don't really agree with that because it technically creates jobs.
What do you mean by create?
Like property doesn't create anything, whereas
doesn't add value in the economy.
If you buy CBA shares, you're capital raising for them.
That's
and
right.
then obviously there's probably a bigger funnel of where your...
Is your friends communists?
I'll let you finish.
They're a little bit left-leaning, so it's a good thing. So let's talk about negative gearing. Do we think that people... Their premise is this, that by borrowing money and getting a tax deduction, right, that people are because of that they're buying 20 properties instead of 2 or 3, and because they're buying 10 or 20 properties, it is affecting prices, and therefore people can't get in. Do you think negative gearing is making people buy more and more properties? Do you think it's negative gearing that's doing that, or is it something else?
It's good and bad. I strongly believe that negative gearing is good in concept. Why? Because it's giving an incentive to an investor to put money towards an asset class. So the fundamentals is right. It's just about that you have to target and you have to be more specific with the problem. The problem here is the housing affordability. What's causing it? The undersupply versus over demand. So if you target that aspect with
so-
the negative gearing, what I'm trying to
So
say
is
is
negative gearing causing over demand? That's what we're saying. That's the
yes,
question.
yes, but
Do you
you
think
have
so?
to. Yes, that's right, because it is adding to the problem in a way that people who want to invest in property, they don't clearly have a goal of why they're investing in property. The only reason they do that is because the neighbor has done it, the friend's done it, the colleague's done it, and they know the accountant has told them if they do it, they'll save some tax. But they don't understand the wealth part of it.
I don't think
They
many
don't
people-
understand if
You
you
think
do
it's
them the
'cause of
numbers.
sanctions tax? I think in the
I
past
reckon
maybe it was.
a very small minority of people buy investment property for tax savings. Very minor.
I think a lot of them feel like all those people you said have done it. I don't want to miss the boat.
Exactly,
It's
it's
the
the FOMO.
speculation.
Yeah,
It's not.
But
But
hang
it's
on.
also.
I
It's
think
not-
I'm
not in
going off track
speculation
than my
as in-
point.
Okay, there's enough.
My point here is that I think negative gearing should be there, but it should only be there for new builds. Don't give negative gearing for your existing builds. So once you buy a property of the plan and then you sell it, the second buyer doesn't get negative gearing. That's my take on it.
What about
that
limiting?
means
Limiting maybe only 3 properties.
Yeah.
no, but why to put a number to it? Because then that could vary in terms of the proportion of
let's
you know
talk.
how much you can get with your first property, second. How do you
But
get
let's
it?
talk about that, right? Whenever the government or well, let's say mainly the government goes around on something like, let's say they came around and they said no negative gearing on anything but new builds, you tend to see an amazing array of developers come in to the market, right? Now I get it that
Fixes the supply side.
Well, it helps
Limits
fix-
the demand on
it
the
helps, but
existing.
do you think developers aren't going in there because they don't want to develop? I think the developers aren't going in if either the site's too expensive, right, or they just don't think they can get the planning through to make a return on the capital. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're going to buy a block of land for $10 million and you don't think you're going to make more than $14 million. Well,
They want the margin.
$4 million margin might not be enough for them. I
won't
don't
do
know
it.
what, but I don't know.
But yeah, that's a good point. That it wouldn't solve the issue of incentivizing the developers to develop more properties, but at least it's fixing the other issue of not incentivizing people to just pump money into existing property, which is actually creating the affordability issue. You know, if affordability is the core of the problem, especially for the young people, for the existing builds, or take the benefit out, so then at least you know, for people who are looking to invest in property for wealth purposes, look at new builds, help the country grow in terms of incentivizing to grow and develop
depreciation
more.
does that, right? Depreciation incentivizes new builds.
It does.
Because you depreciate, and to me, the depreciation allowance tax break is far superior to the negative gearing.
Sure.
Because look at interest
But
rates.
it's part of it.
I get it, but interest rates now are not all-time highs, but they're at highs for the cycle, right?
Yeah,
100% I'm correct there.
I agree. Yeah,
And what's the variable interest rate right now?
6%,
You know
6.2.
So what I'm saying is, I was used to pay 8%. Now I'm not talking. I used to pay 18. I never paid 18. But when I bought my place, when I bought in 07, 08, there's been a period where I've paid in the 8s. I'm sure I have. Now what are we paying? We're paying 6. Okay, sure, it costs more because people have more debt. I get that. But what I'm saying is, we're not at, the interest. The tax deduction on the interest is not going to be as high because the rate's lower. It's more depreciation. So does negative gearing a ban really help it?
I was going to say, I don't think it makes a big difference. People understand that the value of their dollar is going down every year.
Well,
And putting in something where historically it hasn't been very volatile, they'll still be willing to invest in properties,
surely,
even if there's no negative gearing. Because
but not
in my
existing.
opinion, it's probably the safest way to leverage your money, right? Is there a safer way to leverage money than Australian property?
No.
Probably not. No.
Yeah, right. So even if you take out the tax advantages, I think there's.
But I guess it will at least shift the demand from your existing built suburban homes to only newly built or about to build for pure investment purposes.
Yeah.
If negative gearing is removed and depreciation,
and you just said it. If negative gearing is
removed, or it is, because I believe that if you are still able to, let's say, buy a 15 15-year-old house and still be able to claim depreciation for the next 15 years, right?
Yeah.
There's no difference in me buying an off-the-plan apartment versus me putting the money in an established suburban home, a house.
Yeah.
So rather, if I don't get my depreciation on existing build, right, then if I'm someone who's investing for tax purposes, at least, if I'm on a high income tax bracket, then I wouldn't be incentivized. I wouldn't be, incentivized to buy that, because if the growth potentially on a new build is going to be, let's say, somewhere similar, or if I do the numbers, I'm sure I'll be much better off if I can get the negative gearing on new builds.
Yeah. It actually probably would stop the tax speculation, if you want to call it that. I mean, I don't see it that much these days, but I remember before the GFC, people would come to us and say, I want to borrow money to invest. I don't care where I invest almost, because I want to save money on tax.
They want the tax cut.
They want to borrow for the sake of borrowing. I don't think it's that much of an issue now, is what I'm saying. But I hear you.
But it's one of the driving factors.
But it's definitely
in my
a factor.
opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely
because
a factor.
when you go and speak to brokers,
Yeah.
right? I'm sure when you talk to your clients who were looking to multiply, not the first investment property, no one thinks about when they want to buy their first or second. I'm talking about the clients who are multiplying more than 2 or, like 3, 4, 10 properties. Those are the clients who are taking the advantage of tax.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the first or second investors.
What I'm saying is, if you got rid of negative gearing, those clients will still be buying properties, I reckon.
But I don't think they'll be incentivized as much
I think
to buy.
Okay, but
I don't think that
but what do
incentive
you-
on negative gearing tax break is that much strong.
If anything, you're just
That's
putting
my
more
argument.
money into the government for them to spend on crap. That's what you're doing.
Hang on, how are you putting money
Because
back to
what
the
he's
government?
saying,
'Cause if you
and
get
I,
rid-
and I tend to be probably a little bit on his side. I understand your logic.
If you get
is
rid of
perfect,
negative
right?
gearing,
But he's saying
More-
that the negative gearing
more tax to pay.
Yeah, 100%.
But also he's saying that
yes.
more people aren't motivated by the negative gearing as much as you think. Yeah, that's the core of what you're saying.
But
Investors
hang
still
on.
be
Which
buying
I tend
property.
to agree with.
But now you have to break down the negative gearing into, are you talking about cash flow negative gearing or purely taxable negative
What was
gearing?
that?
Did you hear that lightning today?
Oh, that was crazy.
Yeah,
That we heard the loud. You heard?
I thought it was a truck running into like a brick
oh,
wall.
it was that loud, wasn't
It
it?
was the loudest I've probably ever heard.
And let me just use this this break
I know.
in our conversation
Because we went
just
from
to
an
say that
ice cream thing.
I would. Oh, it's your ice crack. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd love to know. Please post your comments under the video if you think topic 1, negative gearing ban, is the way to go to help. Might not be the overall solution, but to help solve the housing affordability
You know what?
crisis.
Or negative gearing
What
ban.
country is there? Is
on
there
the existing
any
properties.
I don't think there
countries? Okay.
No,
and
they don't.
that's the point. I don't think
They
there
don't.
is another country that has
negative
negative
gearing.
gearing. That's what I've been told. I'm not an expert.
I'm talking to people in the States and
PK
they don't
Gupta?
understand. No,
PK
PK, oh mate, that guy's a legend. I'm talking to people that
Shout
are not in
out
the States.
PK.
Yeah, shout out. If you
If you
listen,
want to
mate.
sponsor us.
Yeah.
People
Mate,
in the States.
he doesn't
yeah.
like planners. I'll tell you now. PK's not.
He
a
doesn't
fan
like
of-
anyone. Doesn't like buyers agents. Doesn't like planners.
No, but he trains by. I mean, the people that he's trained, or these clients who've now turned into buyers agents, I sometimes find it funny because he trashes his whole idea that people. Again, we're going off track. His whole
No, it's
idea
fine.
of
Keep going.
PK Gupta is that you don't go to buyer's agent, you come to him,
Yeah.
or you come to do his course.
and
DIY.
he'll find the top 5% in not only capital growth properties but also cash flow, which are quite rare.
Basically DIY. What he's selling is that come to me,
This
I
is
will
great.
DIY.
You know what? I've never listened to a podcast where the whole idea of the podcast is to market the company that's doing the podcast. And the two guests market something else, and they work for the company that we're all trying to market. I've never seen that.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah,
But
it is, isn't it?
here-
So that's what the drink
first,
does to
it's
you.
It's a first.
That's what
It's
the
a first.
Jameson
Cheers.
does to
So
you.
you were going to talk about America.
So like again, America housing market. The reason they don't get as much growth or they don't see as a national average is because they don't have such tax benefits there. In
So
terms
they're
of
investing for the sake of growing their
pure,
wealth.
exactly.
Are you
Which
sure
is
it has
pure-
nothing to do with
the tax
supply and
benefit.
demand?
It is. There is. But then that supply and demand is one side of the coin. You foregoing the whole other side of the coin, which here is a lot of the investors, which are seasonal investors. I'm talking about seasonal investors, not your one or two people. Your clients who can buy up to, let's say, first or second property. That's not going to hurt you. I'm talking about the clients who are really buying those multiple properties because they see the benefit that the holding cost is not really a cost to them. when they can, save 30 to 45 cents in a dollar, especially for your high income earners, right? For business people who sort of, take out money from the business when they know when they've had a bad year or when they want to claim the maximum depreciation.
Why can't they limit to 3? Like, that the
butcher?
butcher?
That butcher can work, yeah.
Why is he going to get all the tax benefits when he's worth $50 million?
Exactly. Well, limited. And that's I agree. I agree. Negative gearing, it shouldn't be banned. I think potentially having some sort of a limit would be interesting.
A limit would be good.
But I don't think
there has
again,
to be more
I think
specifics to the negative gearing.
But I think again it might be like the FBT on business lunches. Where they're looking at the moment. I think the Liberal Party of getting rid of fringe benefits tax on lunches. So if we go out for lunch, we can deduct it, right? Because I don't think they actually. Okay, I understand the concept of it. This, that, and the other.
Is that in talks?
Yeah. I don't think they're thinking of getting rid of it. So if that's the case, but what they're finding is the ATO isn't collecting much tax there. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, it's a rule, it makes sense logically. Okay, yeah, maybe it makes sense, but there's no, you know what I mean? So they're looking at the value, and I think the negative gearing ban potentially could be one of those where you don't see a lot of difference in affordability. But anyway, that's one thing. But let's go on to number two. Another thought. This is a thought I had. I actually think it's quite smart. But maybe I'm being biased because I don't have a lot of clients that have age pension, right? And my idea is that you cap the amount that a homeowner can have as an assets tax exempt house. So if you own a house that's worth $2 million and you're not selling it, because if you sell it, because you're getting a lot of age pension, if you sell it, you're going to have $1 million. If you sell it, you're going to have $2 million, and let's say you buy a new place and it costs you $1 million, you've got $1 million extra. You want the government's money, you don't want your money, so they lock up because they know the whole $2 million is exempt. What I'm saying is cap it. You might cap it at $1 million, might cap it at $1.5 million. Those who need age pension, right? They're going to still get it. Those that are on homes that are worth $2-3 million, they're not going to get it. True. They don't need it. They can sell their freaking house. Right?
Or they continue living in their mansions. And
you know what I mean? Look, why get a full age pension if you've got no other super, no other assets, but your house is worth $4 million? And mate, that happens.
What you're indicating is gentrification. What you're indicating is the limitation of gentrification.
Well,
have you heard the word before? The gentrification.
I've heard of it. I don't know
which is basically the term means that
English is my second language, Chris.
Yeah, me too, man. You've been born here, don't worry. I'm an import. The gentrification, I think, in property context is where, a suburb or which goes through the cycle where a generation of people moves out. Okay. And then the new generation comes in. Moves in.
Well, see, I think something like
and
that.
that's what you're indicating, right?
Because at the end of the day, people sell their homes because they need the cash to unlock cash. Then you're going to have more turnover of stock. And at the moment, I think the biggest issue we have. I mean, sure, it's demand, but the supply has always been the issue. Whether they can build quick enough or build in the right areas. But in this case, you've got that. And I think also, when you think about it, it's going to cost the government less. Because all of a sudden the bloody Centrelink payments will go down.
Well, the government, with the incentive with the downsizer, that was good.
Yeah, that's it. But this is going a little bit further.
They're encouraging that.
Yeah.
Look, man, what figure do you put? 2 million, mate.
Well, it has to be relative. But it has to be relative. No.
They might do
relative median average price. Exactly. Median housing price.
And that's fair because the people who need it, the age pension,
will continue and live in
the house that it's valued at or below the median house value that's what they'll get.
Did you come up with that idea? Did you read that somewhere?
No, 100% I came up with
That's a good
idea. Because at the end of the day, like you could look at it and say, well, but it might not apply to everyone.
It's a good idea.
It is great.
I think it is
politician.
Because I think
the way he thinks. Yeah.
I think that's a big problem because people have to sell. Like in my area, I know that the housing prices stay high. Because there's just you drive around,
but then there's
maybe 10 houses for sale in the whole suburb.
See, the thing is, that's going to create a lot of work for finational planners. Good, because you're going to force someone.
Real estate agents will all be my best friend.
Yeah, of course. They're going to have to sell.
Gupta might even like me because does he like selling existing stuff or is only like
no, he likes to accumulate.
It doesn't matter. He'll buy anything, right?
Yeah,
he'll like me too.
Yeah,
there you go.
Wow.
I think so. All right, there you go. This is the first time I've ever got agreement out of these.
That's good. That's a good one.
It's a good idea. because I always actually felt when I started planning, and when I used to be out in western sort of northwest Sydney when I initially started, and when I got familiar with the whole asset tests, and when I sort of did a couple of SOAs, it always surprised me. Not so much at the time, but then when I started practicing in Northern Beaches here, you get clients who's on a
$4 million
age
house.
pension, and they have a nearly $4 to $5 million house which they reside in, and they're still getting 30-40 grand from the.
That's why I tell my clients that your family home is not an investment.
Well, and that's what the government
It's not
believes.
investment.
But that's what the government agrees to.
Until you sell it.
Yeah, okay, because
Well, that's why they've kept it an exempt. Well, that's the reason why the government has kept it an exempt, because the government also believes that it's not an investment.
Yeah.
So although those clients that have bought the property for $400,000 or $500,000, which is now worth $5 million, it's still an exempt though, because they didn't use it for any investment purposes.
This would cause such an uproar.
Oh,
but
politically it'd be suicide.
Yeah, but hang on. but listen to this. The thing is, the people that will benefit won't realize the benefit until maybe 10 or 20 years down the track.
Yeah.
Because who knows if the government can continue affording to pay the pension.
Right.
This way it prolongs it.
It's going to get harder. I mean, you look at it, maybe, I don't know.
You'll create enemies, but your supporters won't sort of be there. They'll be...
Yeah, that's right. But
they're going to continue getting their pension.
But when they changed the assess test rules, when was it? Maybe 10 years ago, 7 years ago, something like that. I had some clients on part pensions that didn't need them, but we were getting them, that all of a sudden were not eligible anymore. Now, have those people, has their lifestyle been affected in a negative or adverse way? Are they running out of money where they're looking like we're going to have some sort of crisis? No. Like, they're self-funded. All of my clients, I think at the moment, my retired clients are all self-funded. And not one of them is complaining that they don't have enough money.
Yeah.
Not one of them's complaining.
What about if you did like a tiered, where you can say, okay, your house is above the median, right, for the area,
and then you count the surplus.
Yeah, or
The
something like
surplus
that,
into
or
your
a
assets.
based on the
reduced
area.
amount.
So that way you don't force them
reduced
out.
amount of age pension.
But you know what that does? It creates more work for the government, more work for Centrelink.
you probably see it'll be like,
And the government won't be up for it,
it'll
because
be like
that goes the cost up.
concessional contributions are capped at 30 grand for everyone. There's people earning 30 grand. There's people earning
3 million.
300 grand, 3 million, 30
3
million.
Yeah.
They've all got a $30,000
cap. Yeah.
So
fair
I
point.
think that's how
Fair
it would
point.
be. Now, I don't think that's fair.
So you're on 2
No,
million
but
a year,
that's
but
a
you're
good
still
point.
only paying 30,000.
Yeah, 100%. It kills me, man. It's crazy.
How
I
else-
need to buy some property in negative gear. But I'm not going to get my age pension, so that's okay.
Talking about lightning strikes.
So yeah, please comment if you think assess test exemption cap is a way to go, because I think it could be, and I'd like to see some comments.
That
even
was
though
one
no
of the
one's
best
gonna
ideas you've come up with.
comment. It is, isn't it?
But if you're a politician,
If I'm a
you'd be out the
politician,
door.
I think with any of
I
these,
think he'll be ditched by his own
with
party.
the first two that we talked about,
Yeah.
political suicide.
We-
But it takes a visionary politician. I mean, the only way you can do this is if you've got a majority in the House, you've got a majority in Parliament, and you get voted on a Trump-style mandate, right, like he did, and somehow you've convinced, on a landslide, and you convinced the whole population or a majority of them that you are the Messiah, and then you can get away with murder. Then you can get away with murder because and you're happy with one term, and maybe we have longer terms. I actually think we need in this country longer terms for our politicians. It shouldn't be 3 years. It should be at least 40 years.
You know what's funny?
Is it a 40?
Bill Shorten.
I think it's 3 or whatever.
It's
but it should be
it's
longer.
no, it's three here in America. It's 4.
Yeah.
Bill Shorten, who thought was the Messiah, right, in the unlosable election, right? He proposed ban to negative gearing.
Yep.
He proposed ban on commissions for mortgage brokers, and he banned franking credits. Or he went for the trifecta.
Yeah.
And guess what? He lost the unlosable election.
Yeah. He lost the unlosable election. Now he's retired. or at least he's probably working for one of the unions or something.
How
But
dare
anyway.
he get rid of trial commissions?
Well, I think negative gearing ban would be massive. Massive in
All the
regards to
politicians
it would be impossible.
own investment
almost.
properties.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is.
exactly.
Well, that's why
But,
the
how
negative
much of them
gearing
would
is
have
always
debt?
alive.
I don't know.
A lot, I reckon.
Okay, number 3, stamp duty reductions. If you were to reduce stamp duty, one of my friends, the argument he had is that even though he's retired now and he's downsized into a split level townhouse type of thing, but he's now like, oh well, I can downsize even more, but I don't want to do it because of the fact that
Stamp duty cost.
stamp duty costs me, right? And this guy is well and truly in
And
his retirement years.
agent commissions and stuff.
Yeah. So I'm not just talking about stamp duty for new home guys. I tell you, like first home buyers, stamp duty doesn't make any sense to me, right? I think that should go.
Yeah.
And I don't think that should be capped at a price. Firstly, let's talk about that. Do you think you see it a lot? Do you think it should be capped at a price?
I'm doing 3 at the moment. I think it should be capped.
But why?
Yeah.
Well, why? I mean, like, think of it. Like, you want to get into a particular area, and forget about. I'm not talking about any area. I'm not talking about a flash area.
Okay.
You want to just live in the suburbs, in suburbia, right? You're telling me you can find a property in suburbia, freestanding house for your young family, for less than 1.5 million anywhere in Sydney, anywhere in Greater Sydney?
Now, mate, listen. If a young family can afford to buy a place for $1.5 million, right?
Yeah.
Mate, they can afford stamp duty.
Another 50 grand in stamp duty, but maybe
Yes.
they're pushing it at 1.5.
Because that's what's going to push the ones that are struggling to buy the property for 600,000-700,000.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
what's causing the affordability issue. I had a first home buyer. They bought in Perth, right? They bought in Perth. High income earners,
Yeah.
right? Especially the husband.
Yeah.
And they ended up buying their first property for 1.2 million, 1.3 million. And they only had 60 or 70,000 saved up, and they went to the parents to do a guarantor.
Yeah, what does that have to do with anything?
I'm just saying they can
talking
afford
about stamp duty.
Yeah, but they paid the stamp duty.
Oh, okay.
They paid the stamp duty.
Yes.
right?
He's coming to the
but they
point.
can afford.
You
They
have to wait. Yeah.
Like the bank
Yes.
quite easily gave them the loan amount of 1.2 million.
Yes, based on
Okay, if you put that against someone that's struggled to save up the 100,000 whatever, and their competition for the person that's going to buy it, mate, it pushes them out.
Okay, what if you had? All right, what if we go halfway? We meet halfway, and we say there's stamp duty loans, where the bank maybe takes out an insurance policy, they have to pay a little bit more.
Well,
it's like
they've got-
mortgage
they've
insurance.
got
Or start
something-
capitalising
They've got
it
something
in the
like
loan.
that now. They've got the LMI
LMI
thing.
Yeah. Okay. So,
no,
so
hang on.
you're against increasing the cap. You're happy with it to be where it is. Is it? Where is it? What's the stamp?
800,000.
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay. It
that's
used to
not
be.
too bad.
It used to be. You're probably thinking when it was
Back-
650.
Yeah, that's right.
It's 800 now.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that right? On existing or new build?
It doesn't
Any.
matter anything.
Any.
Yeah. Don't
New
you
South
say,
Wales?
why are you discriminating against existing houses?
No, I don't like when people.
PK Gupta prefers existing.
Exactly, that's why I hate it.
Actually, me too. I tell my clients, I go, if I say use a buyer's agent or like I go try to stay away from apartments. Look for just 600, 700 square meter blocks, existing brick home.
I don't mind new build brick homes. I get a little bit anxious when it's in a development sort of.
Because there'll be a lot coming up.
There'll be a lot coming up. But in saying that, I get it in new areas where they're putting in a new shopping centre and infrastructure
And if they're mostly-
school, because I think that's what's required.
If they're
We need
mostly
to-
own occupiers, you'll be okay.
Yeah, that's
If
right.
you
But
whole bunch
high
of
rise is
investors-
like the one at Homebush, with the cracks going down and it's like half the building's falling apart. I mean, yeah, that's scary. Because if I was investing in that, that would scare the shit out of me. Because it's worth nothing all of a sudden.
Fair enough.
You owe all this money on it and it's worth nothing. What about you? Stamp duty reduction for new home buyers or anyone for that matter? Because
Yeah,
again,
I didn't know it was.
does a
800.
stamp duty
When I
reduction?
bought it, it was bloody 400.
Really?
Yeah, it was lower.
The cap
It
was
lower.
400.
Yeah.
No, it was
Hey,
lower.
but there was
And
a
before
difference
that it was
between-
300.
Yeah.
But can I ask you something, both of you,
Maybe it just goes up. with
and you
inflation.
can go because you were talking. I don't want to interrupt you.
No, all good.
Don't want to, be good and all that, Don't want to piss anyone off. India's got the largest population in the world, right?
Yeah, we
so
are
if
now.
I piss you off and then the whole of India came again,
They will come after you, mate.
That's not.
They will come
Who's
after
the
you.
most
Armenians. There's not many of us.
Yeah, I know.
We're all Aussies.
But
Who's,
Good days also.
who's the most famous Indian in the world? Sachin Pandit.
Virat Kohli.
Virat Kohli. More than
most amount
Tendulkar?
of, hey? Yeah. He's got the most amount of followers. He's got like 300 million followers.
Who's the most famous Armenian?
Is that because he's younger
Kim Kardashian.
and he came more in the era
of social media?
Yeah. Okay.
Is Kim
That's
Kardashian the most famous Armenian?
Is she young?
Charles Aznavour?
Nah, but yeah, a lot of people. Do you
Maybe
know Charles,
not.
do
Maybe
you know
not.
Charles
Into,
Aznavour?
but maybe
I
not
don't
in
even
terms of
know.
likes.
Cher.
Oh, sorry. Wait.
Cher, do you know Cher?
Yeah, but you know what? No. If
Hang
we're
on.
talking around social media following and likes, 100% Kardashians, right?
Kardashian sisters are what? They all
Armenians.
are they?
Their dad was a lawyer who died. Was a
O.J.
lawyer
O.J.
who
Simpson.
got O.J. Simpson out of jail.
Yeah, Armenian.
Robert? Was it Robert? Was that his?
So they're half
son's name?
Armenian.
No.
Yeah, because they're mum.
But the dad
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
All right, we digress.
Wow.
What about reducing stamp duty? Not just for first home buyers. I want to downsize. Okay, maybe I'm not that jumping to get in because there's this extra cost. Would you reduce it for me? I know you're going to say no because you said
I
it's
tell you
no.
what.
Actually, no.
I have
I'm
a
gonna
point on that.
tie
I
this
have a
in
point
with your
on that.
previous thing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna save your political career. You abolish stamp duty for the person that's going to
Age, pension
downsize
age, or-
for the age pension.
Yes, if they're over age pension age.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
able to be eligible for the
No, not just
age
age-
pension.
I mean, I look-
for the you
To be
said that.
honest-
Yes. Okay.
be
Abolish
honest-
stamp duty for those people.
Yeah, okay.
There we go.
Yeah,
I
then
would-
you're turning.
You might save. Now you still might be re-elected.
I might get re-elected.
I think my opinion is just don't have stamp duty for someone who's downsizing regardless of the age. So what it means is
You're
you only-
promoting them to downsize.
Yeah, and regardless of the age.
But can I ask you something?
But do charge stamp duty for someone who's upsizing.
But can I say something? Can I just ask you this? I've got clients who downsize, like we all do, right? Does the government ask what they're buying?
No,
In
they
the
care
forms?
about no.
No.
They care about the
So assuming they might have a lot of cash sitting around. They might have a lot of cash in their personal and they can't get it into super for any particular reason. And then all of a sudden, they sell their home and they tick all the downsizer rules and they get money into super. They upsize because they've got all this cash.
no problem.
When they do downsize, my question is, so I'm not asking a question, I'm just saying something.
You're making
My
it
question is, should they prove that they're actually downsizing? Does
Yes.
it really matter if they're selling their property? I guess it doesn't really matter because what we're talking about is
I-
sell your property. Like, let's get stock on the market, right? Does it matter if they go to a more expensive property?
Well, yeah, because
I feel-
the
I
whole
feel it
point
does.
was to
Affordability.
It is
for that age
no, but
pension.
what if?
Yeah, the
no, but what if?
affordability,
What if
the
they're
underlying-
but what if they're
underlying
cashed
issue.
up? They're cashed up.
Yeah.
They've already hit their. You can downsize over the transfer balance cap, right? Yes or no?
Ooh, good question. No,
I think you can.
Okay, yeah.
not
I
sure.
think you can. Anyway, let's say you can. I'm cashed up. I've hit my transfer balance cap, but I want to get this money into super because I know that, okay, it's going to be taxed at 15%, but I'm cashed up. I've got all this money outside of super. Even when I sell my property, the most I can downsize, what is an extra 300 grand I can put into super. But I've sold my place for 3 million, right? I can put 300 grand in for me, 300 grand in for my wife. There's 600,000.
To answer that question,
So I've got $2.4 million left, and let's say I've got another $2 million left in cash. I take my 2 million and my 2.4, I go buy a 4.4 million property. I'm not downsizing. I'm buying a more expensive property
yeah,
than I
you
sold.
must be. You must be charged.
But it
stamp
doesn't
duty.
matter.
You must be charged stamp duty.
Yeah, okay, all right. But, okay, I get it on the stamp duty, but it doesn't matter that I'm not downsizing.
He's just creating more stock and.
But I'm creating more stock. Isn't that the name of the game, though? Create more stock? There's just not enough
It is.
supply.
Yes.
Because a young family, potentially the ones that are...
But he's gonna. They've got to buy something else. So it's just.
So the one that you're getting out.
But a young
the one
family
that
can't
you
buy a
investing-
$4 million property.
No, but
just
the one that
recycling.
you
It's
investing.
recycling. It's
Yeah.
property recycling.
Property.
But isn't that what this problem is? The housing
If the guy
affordability crisis, isn't that the problem?
if the government's listening, right?
We've
I'm
got some
gonna give it.
guarantees.
I'm gonna give him permission to build 80 units on my block of land. I'm not gonna disclose the address, but I'm walking distance to shops. 80 blocks of units. How many? That's
Straight up. Okay, so all right. Well, then
Middle of Kalani.
let's talk about this.
That will solve a lot of
And
issues.
this is great because I have on the board there what the audience can't see, the 1 or 2 people in the world that are going to watch this. I don't know why, but those people who are, you can't see that on my board. There's a few points. We're on the last one now, and we're getting into 40 minutes. Gosh, that's a long time, guys.
Wow.
I'm not Joe Rogan. That's a long time for my podcast.
It is, yeah.
Okay, so I put other. Now you've just dinged other.
Yeah. The Northern Beaches.
Red tape.
The Northern Beaches put this. I don't know if it was an email or what, but a proposition of allowing medium density housing within 500 meters of neighbor, like a shopping.
Oh, really? Shopping centre, like a precinct with a...
Yeah, something like that. Like in Kalani, the little shops there, Forestville around the schools.
Yep.
So 500 metres, maybe a K. So medium density, which meant three-storey apartments. 800 metres, it was dual occupancy.
Okay.
So that would... Imagine how much extra housing that would create.
Red tape. Council red tape. Reducing it. How do they reduce it? And if they reduced it, let's say the local government, let's say we clicked our fingers. Now, you want to get people pissed off with us? This is the way we're going to do it. We click our fingers and local government's gone. Right? Somehow the bins still get collected and the roads get fixed and all that, but like government's gone. Or at least the red tape around DAs and CCs and all that's gone.
Goes to federal.
Does that change
I
things?
mean, goes to state or goes to federal government?
No, there's just no more red tape.
Okay,
We can
well-
to build.
No,
But
it's
no,
got to be.
that
It's got to
can't
be. You got to make it.
No one does that in the world. Anywhere in the world,
I'm not
you still
saying-
have to go to
Okay, you know what I'll
plans
say
approved.
to make it.
Yeah, but like
300
but it's
square meters
easier.
per dwelling.
You went through a DA process.
Yeah.
How long did that take you?
Good 6 months.
Okay, so what if they made it easier? Would it? Do you think it would be more positive in
I think
terms
there
of
already works
people
on
buying to build and?
I think with the help of technology, I think they are working on it. I've heard something about it where they're saying that with this with the help of this whole AI, they're trying to automate the process. Where if the plans don't meet their certain benchmarks, it's straight off the bat, rejections or approvals.
Okay.
Exactly like what they're doing with the loans. Simple loans, you do it through AI bots, gets approved. Off the bat, boom, done. I think that they're trying to do something similar with the plans too. Because obviously you can't be getting architect to be looking at every plan.
Yeah.
That gets applied for the thing.
Granny flat solution. One of the more prominent.
Oh, that's an amazing one.
Yeah. So they've got this thing where it goes to Google Maps.
Yep.
And it takes a bird's eye view of your land, boundaries and stuff, and within 5 minutes, 10 minutes,
Tell you.
it draws up a
Yeah,
plan
draws up a plan,
of
To make it comply.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
I mean, we had a good architect when we did some renos at our place. It wasn't a builder or anything, but we wanted to extend the room. He said, "Listen, you don't want to go down this. If you do this, if you do that, it's going to be DA. You do this, you do that. It's
CDC.
It's CDC." And we went through CDC. It still took some time,
Yeah.
but it wasn't too
Couple
bad.
of
But it's a
months.
lot quicker CDC.
A lot quicker. Yeah, a few months.
Yeah.
To say 3 months.
When Anush and I went to Homeworld, I'd never heard of one of the builders actually come out and say, "Yep, do this design, CDC." And I was like, "What's CDC?" And she explained it, and I was like, "Wow, why doesn't more people do that?"
Yeah.
He goes, "Because with DA, they're
Restrictions.
trying to fit more in. They're
Yeah.
tring to do more. They're
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
get closer to the boundary."
Yeah, that kind of thing.
CDC.
Yeah, close to the boundary.
When you
was
push
my
the
issue.
limits, that's right.
That's
when
why you
you
need
push
the
the
DA,
limits,
yes,
you go
everyone-
for the
everyone
DA.
wants that.
Yeah.
So local government, we're thinking there's more danger in reducing local government or
Oh, yeah, I
or
believe
other
there
red
is.
tape. Okay. Anyway, well, we've come up with a few suggestions here. Obviously, these might not work, or they might not work in isolation, but at least some people are talking about them. If you think a negative gearing ban or an assets test exempt cap for age pension or stamp duty exemption or anything else.
Or if you think Raffi will be the next Premier of New South Wales.
Yeah, I don't think so. We've already had one Armenian Premier. I don't think we need another one. If you think any of those will work or anything else, please comment in the comments section. I would like to thank Zare and Krishu.
Thanks
They've
for
done
having
an
us.
amazing job. Thank
For
you.
your
Thank you,
for your
boys.
first
Cheers.
Raffi's Rant.
For my first Raffi's Rant. Thank
Raffi's
you.
Rant.
Thank you for reminding me what this was
Yes,
called.
Raffi's Rant.
If you, please listen to what, please subscribe, like, all that kind of thing. We want
Don't
more and
forget
more
to
people
comment.
to see this podcast because I think that even though we're having a bit of fun now, but we're talking about some really good logical things. We've got a lot of content that we want to talk about. And if you would like to have a look at what Manly Financial Services does and how we can help you, www.manlyfs.com.au. And you can, come along to work with advisors such as these two great guys in our team and a bunch of others. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
As always, this is not to be taken as advice and is definitely general in nature. I hope this discussion has been beneficial. If you've watched this on YouTube, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave a comment. If you're getting the non-YouTube version of this podcast from wherever you digest your podcast content, then please comment, like, and follow. Thank you. We really appreciate that. Lastly, this episode is brought to you by financial advisory firm Manly Financial Services. We focus on providing specialist financial advice to individuals and now working more and more with small to medium business owners and executives in that space. Please visit our website, manlyfs.com.au. Hope this discussion and information has been of benefit and engaging. If you'd like some more help, please reach out, go on our website to connect. We'd be more than happy to have a discussion and to help where we can. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.